And we'll say hi to the YouTube people, but they don't need to see all of that 5 to 10 minutes we just spent, well, 5 minutes we just spent setting things up, right? So as I said, monthly outlooks, monthly statistical outlooks are going to start now. Every first outlook of the month. I do want to make this a regular thing, and I got a little scared today. Saw Alex in here and no one else, so I give it a second song, give you guys some time to join in. But if there's no one, I won't be doing a call, right? So if there's people in here, like right now, right, I'm going to keep coming. So I do want to say that I appreciate that from you guys. But now, enough rambling, right? Let's get straight into it. We're first going to start off and profile our following month. So I'm going to walk you guys through what I personally do when I come out and when I come out and a new month is coming. So now, well, actually, we have another test. Now you should be able to see my Google. Do let me know if this is correct. You should see right statistics at the moment. Awesome. So see, now we're going to have a little bit of an easier flow. So we're just going to open the app, and I'm going to walk you guys through what I do. Now, I'm not a hardcore quant analyst or data scientist or whatever you want to call it, to be honest. I use very simple logic, but I like to have the data behind it. First thing I always look at is seasonality. These are my favorite thing. I used to show you guys these for the OGs even before we could consider anything else. By the way, if you guys have any questions along the way, do let me know. You are free, you know, this is all recorded. This is going to be recorded as well. You are free to take screenshots. You're free to do as you wish. I really do not mind, but this is all recorded. Looking at this, we have both seasonal charts for NASDAQ and ES. Where is SMT section on Rice Statistics? It is not present yet, and this will be kept. I'm keeping the big stuff for when the app is ready for it. It is currently not. But just to get back on track, right? NASDAQ and ES. Mid to long term, we're going to view preferably, right, just February. And what do we want to see? Well, in terms of seasonality, it's very simple. Right? We look basically what type of movement happens in this month, and we average it out over multiple years. Now you have 15, 10, 5 years all time, and then your red line, this is your current year. That's your year to date, right? So I like to compare these long-term and more intermediate terms, so last 5 years, to look for specific trends in seasonality. Now, very clear that in February, what do? Well, we expand towards a high, and we generally tend to close lower than we opened. Now, this is true over the last 18 years, 15, 10, 5 years. This is always true. We go and we basically run higher to go and generate a high mid-February and then expand lower. So talking about data, of course, I'm going to expect a bearish month. And if we go right here, ranges analysis, monthly time window, and we look specifically, let's look at February. And let's go look at our extremes. What does this tell you? The same thing. There's the highest probability in basically the middle of the month, nearing the end, right? And if we go back to the dashboard, actually, we kind of skip through this very quickly. If we go back to the dashboard, what do we see? Well, first of all, pretty split on direction, but when you have 20 months, it's very hard to profile based on direction. And of course, if you want to screenshot this and use these levels, these are the levels I'm going to be looking at. But pretty much what we expect from February is a consolidation month. It is a high resistance month where you expect a first on expansion to the upside, followed by a move lower. This is what data tells me. This is what my profiling tells me. And of course, you can go into the raids, but I like to look at previous months' raids for high and low, more so when I have one. So for example, if the first week of February raids the highs, then I'm going to go mark out week 1, and I want to see the low rates. So I know that if there is a high rate during week 1, well, actually, we never did not take this. Of course, the count is only 2, as you can see in this little pop-up, but out of the 2, we only went to rate this. So 22% chance for a raid, and if it does happen, it's going to happen during week 4. So see, just having simple data like this allows me to profile my coming month. Now, the most important for me is also to look at monthly bias. This is very, very simple logic that you can see right here. Pretty much if we go into bias right here, you'll see bullish bias, bearish bias, and how to establish this logic. So let's go back to our chart very quickly. And once again, I'm getting used to it. So now we're back on our chart. If we look at our monthly candle, what do we see from last month? Well, we took out the high of the previous month and failed to close through it. So if we go back to the app very quickly and we compare this scenario, sorry, I'm just verifying every single time that we did indeed switch around because I want to make sure. Well, if we go back here and we look at the bias, well, my bias when this happened, so let's look at it, took previous month high and, well, that's not it, failed to close above previous month high after breaking it. This happens quite often, right? So you have it right here. Oh, little monthly bias issue. Let me just refresh this. And now our bias means that it's previous month low. Now, what's the success rate of this? 56%. Is this the sort of data that I'm going to be super interested in? Not really, right? I'm going to filter it by month and look at specifically February. Not much of a change here. Perhaps if we look in the last, for example, 7 years is something I like to use quite a bit. Still 33%, even worse, right? So can I have faith in this data? Not really, right? This is not the most useful data coming into February. So I can disregard this specifically. Oh, actually, I'm looking at the wrong month because we did not open February yet. We'll see, even better, but same analysis, just different levels, right? So we broke previous month low and failed to close through it. What do we expect? An inside bar, perhaps getting to previous month's high. So I'm going to mark this out and we'll go to a daily chart. Does it make sense that we go up here? Well, as we framed previously, we're looking at those relative equal highs. This is a clear objective for us. And if we bring into consideration, once again, and let's actually go back here for a second. If we bring into consideration our seasonality, that tells us that we should see a peak form mid-February. And once we go back to our charts, as I said, I'll get the flow of it and I'll change my keybind for sure. But would it make sense that starting this month here and going all the way until, let's actually, let's put a separation here. And let's go all the way here. Would it make sense that this month could open, go into a high, taking out previous month high? This is what our data tells us, right? We want to see, and when do we want to see it? 15th of February. So actually, let's do this, 14th of February, which is Valentine's Day. And then we could see some move lower to go target these lows. And as we saw from the data, right, this is what we saw in the bias, in the ranges analysis. We have a low probability of reaching all the way down here. But if we are, it's going to be in the last week of February, which would mean here. We don't see TradingView. Well, there you go. TradingView was blocking me from showing it to you. I'm telling you guys, I'm going to get used to it. I'm going to get more accustomed to switching between all these phases. I actually just ordered a little thing. I think they call this a Stream Deck, where I can set my keybinds on there and give them little names. So it's a little bit easier. I really want to start focusing on bringing you guys quality content. And I've said it before, I'll say it again. I'll never be an influencer. I don't like it. But having that personal brand online, I think, is important. I think it's important for you guys to see me as a person and not just that guy on Twitter that does statistics and is kind of good at trading, right? So I'm going to share a lot more content about Rice Statistics, specifically sharing the availabilities in it. Right now, how I use it is really, I go there every single day. I go on the today's dashboard, which gives me all the relevant information for today's range. So I have all my average range levels. I have my timing for the high and low, where it's supposed to form the high and low, where it has the highest probability, I would say. I always look at the 15-minute or the 30-minute candle of that time. So for example, if it tells me it's 9:30, then I'm going to look from 9:30 to 10 a.m. and expect the high of the day to form there. Just giving you guys an example. And I filter it using the custom news. So for example, if it's NFP day, or coming into this week, which we'll talk in a second, is NFP week, so it's Monday of NFP week, then I want to be able to filter for these things. And then I can get all the data that I need from just this very specific filtering. And it has been extremely consistent. Now, of course, I won't tell you guys to buy it. I won't tell you guys to trade from it. I'll just show you guys. So that's why I have to create the content, right? Just to give you all a little more insight into what's coming for me, for Rise Statistics. You'll see that in the next few days, perhaps even tonight, you'll see Rise, basically our YouTube channel, and I'm almost there, being rebranded to Rise. So it's no longer going to be all of your trades, it's going to be Rise. So if you see that name change, don't be surprised. Who is Rise Statistics targeted for? Like big companies or single traders? We're going to be partnering with some bigger companies, making some custom dashboards, but it's really for traders. What I'm trying to build here is a tool that traders can go to educate themselves, to analyze price, and to be able to create profitable trading strategies and trade it every day. So further down the line, we're going to have live dashboards, that's for sure, where you can just open that dashboard. It tells you what to trade, where to trade it, what's going on today, all that good stuff. But for now, it's mainly in more of the analyst sort of things, and looking at the past, what kind of moves repeat themselves in the past. Of course, I can't tell you directly how to use it, because with 1.7 billion data points, you can use it however you want. There is so much data available in the markets, and a lot of people want access to this data, want easy visualizations of this data, but they can't find it. Hence why I decided to build it. So sorry if this turned into an advertisement of Rise Statistics. Definitely wasn't my goal there, but I do get carried away. I get excited when talking about it. I appreciate that for us. Appreciate it. So as we said, right, I don't like to go in depth when I'm profiling a month, because as a day trader, knowing where my month is going is not going to help me. That's the truth. As a swing trader, as a position trader, of course, that's going to help you. That's what you need. But I don't. All I need to know is, where is today going? And that's why I wanted to give you guys more of the insight of the today's dashboard. You know what? I'll give you all a quick showcase of what it looks like. But you have the dashboard. You can select your custom session. I add my specific news events, and then I get all the data about bullish or bearish, all my levels, my gaps that I'm familiar with. And of course, you have multiple different settings. And I just wanted to showcase that to you guys very quickly, so you have a visual of what I'm talking about. But specifically for the months, I look at simple things. I look at previous month high and previous month low, right? So I have January, and this is not previous month high technically, right? But this is previous month high, and these are the relative equal highs that are formed through it. Those FVG and Doug Phil stats, yes, they are very, very special. You'll see that 9 from the DTT team. He posted a lot about them. Definitely like them. But just looking at this very quickly, right? As I said, I use seasonality. I use previous month high and previous month low, which I showcased through the bias analysis. And of course, I like to know, okay, well, if it's going to take previous month high, when is it going to take it? During what week is where I'm focused on? Because during that week is where I'll frame reversals. If we take out previous month high, I'm going to be framing reversals. Why? Because I align with my seasonality, and I understand that we are due to go lower. And that if we go lower aggressively, I know that this will be met during the 4th week of the month. Utilizing this data, this simple data, I can profile my month. And I always have these little drawings. That's how I take note of them. So I make my little drawing like this, what I expect. And am I always right? No. Honestly, not my win rate, but my success rate on predicting the month's outcome is much lower than just the week's. Why? Because I have less information. Right, so if you ask me what I'm going to see next week, it's going to be the same thing. Right, it's NFP week. I think we need to go higher into mid-February, but we don't have to go higher now. And once again, we're just going to be stuck between this gap. So I need to see us trade through it, trade upwards inside of this, and I want to see these highs. And on ES, if we just compare to the right, where is that? There is SMT at this level, but we also had the huge gap. So I still want to see price trade through it. Best case scenario, this first week is just going to go down. And then going into next week, we can then go higher, or going into NFP this Friday, we can go higher, right? But specifically looking at tomorrow, right, which I'm going to say, go from it. What percentage would you say Rice Statistics is from completion? 2%? 1%? It's never going to be completed for us. There's always going to be more data to be brought. There's always going to be more things to be implemented. There's always going to be signals to provide, bots to provide, indicators to provide. It's never going to be over. That's the truth. I'm going to be working on this project for the next 10 years. I know it. When I started it, I was aware. That's just something I want to do. Sorry, as I said, I do get quite carried away when we talk about Rice Statistics. Just a big passion. But to get back on track with price, right, as I said, I'm going to be looking for higher, especially going into tomorrow. I'd like to see us trade through this gap early, because if we trade through this gap early, then I can see the rest of the week just tumble up to these levels and then see a big move lower. That's a little bit asking for much in this case. We're probably just going to see an inside week. That's the truth, right? Just trading inside of these levels and perhaps going all the way down here. But best case scenario is we just have a very shit week. That's the truth. Right up until NFP Friday, which will just bring us higher. And we're probably not going to reach all the way here, which could be perfect, right? We could leave this first week here and then have the second week of February go all the way up here. And then that would be textbook what we just looked at under seasonality. That would be best case scenario. Now, I always share with you guys my levels. What are your levels this week? Well, there's nothing, right? The only thing you can have is, you can look at this range, of course, the most recent. But the truth is, we've just been trading within this range the whole month of February almost. Of January, sorry. So 2 weeks plus this week. So yeah, 3 weeks. We've just been trading within this. We induce the highs, we induce the lows. What does that mean? Well, just as price is fractal, when I look at my daily, I treat it the same as when I look at my 1 minute, and vice versa. What do I always tell you guys in these PA reviews that we do, right? I say that when price consolidates, I'm looking for us to sweep one side and then frame the trade on the other. So I understand that until one of these levels are taken out, and I'm going to mark them as such because they're going to stay on my chart. So previous monthly low, we'll mark this as previous monthly high, and we'll have our equal highs as well. So just to say, before any of those levels are taken, pretty much, so are ran through, then there are no high probability trade opportunities because there's no expansion. We're trading within a range. We're ranging. This is not something interesting to me. And now you can say, of course, that there is SMT. But there's been multiple SMT on the way down and on the way up. This is what we do when we consolidate. This liquidity trumps all SMT that is present because we induce both sides of the market, and I understand what this means. Now I am framing upside prioritarily. That's what I'd like to see, right? And just to showcase the SMT correctly, I'd like to see us run to the upside very aggressively going into mid-February. Now, if we don't get this, we'll rediscuss it. Of course, we have price action reviews, 4 of them this week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. So we're definitely going to have a lot of information being shared this week along the way, right? I like to always give a little insight into what I'm going to be looking at for the next day during our price action reviews. But truth is, this week, I don't anticipate much things that are interesting. And knowing my personal history with February, the fact that it's just a hard month for me as a trader, and then I see price doing this, I'm not going to be picky. well, when I say this, I guess I'm never using the right words in this specific scenario. It's not that I'm not going to be picky. Quite the contrary, I will be picky. But what I mean by that is I'm going to be very conservative. This would be the correct way to put it. So I'm not going to chase my full targets. I'm going to be happy with less. I'm going to take profit a lot. And overall, I don't expect it to be a great month for me because I'm going to be careful the whole time. And scared money doesn't make much money, but it makes a little. And on a month like this that I know my chances are low and that historically speaking it is a consolidation month, then I'm going to be ready for it. I'm going to be ready for us to range, and making sure I take profit early will fix everything, every single problem that I could anticipate to have. Do you guys have any questions related to that? It's like, it's unfortunate that we start these these monthly outlooks on a month like February. Because February, there isn't much to speak of in my book. Just not a overall very complicated month. You usually just consolidate, or you're going to run very aggressively with direction for 2 weeks and then consolidate the rest, as we are framing right now. And I don't see any of you guys typing, so I'm guessing it was all clear. Definitely something I'm looking to start every single month, right? So first weekly outlook of the month, we're going to be doing these monthly statistical analysis, I guess. I'm going to find a nice word, a nice name for them. Definitely will. Would this be something you guys are interested in? Just sharing some more data. Of course, as the app grows, there's going to be some more analysis. Definitely some more stuff there. And I'm going to keep the next level stuff for the people on the app, of course. But I do want to give you guys some insights into how I use statistics. Great content. I appreciate that. Well, on that note, guys, I wish you all the best of nights. Good luck trading this week, and we'll see each other on Monday for another price action review. Have a good one, guys.